Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll find information about our organization, the frequencies we operate on, and also you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater, known as the 08 machine, 147.08, with a specific tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets underway fully. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Good evening again. This is Dave, KD7CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. So far checked in via video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Bert, N7CS, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else that wishes to check in? Hearing none, let's get the net rolling. Let's start in Tacoma with Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, well, thank you, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, good evening, everyone. It turned out to be kind of a nice evening. We had 0.08 of an inch of rain yesterday, and then 0.08 of an inch of rain again last night. We had this race over here where everybody ran down to Ruston, and they started in the rain. It was kind of light rain, just kind of drizzly. I don't think there was nearly as many people that showed up this year as there were last year. Last year the weather was much better. It was kind of expensive too. It looks like it's about $50 to enter it, which seems to me like awful steep. But they had about 3 or 4 different races. 12K I think was the longest, 5K, and then a 2K or something, and then a walk, and then a kids, something to do with the kids. But there was still a lot of people running around here. Okay, I guess I'll send it back to Nat, KD7QKU.
QKU, let's go to Lee in Port Angeles, N7KC.
N7KC.
Okay, very good. I'm transmitting, I hope. Okay, Dave says I'm okay. Well, good evening all. Lee here in 7KC and Port Angeles. Anyway, we had some rain. Can you... So we're real pleased about that here. That was nice to see. It's really, really dry place here. Yep, very nice to see that rain. Went out to Priscilla's Cruise Inn. It's a hole-in-the-wall restaurant here in Port Angeles where the club, the CCARC, has its monthly, well, every other month they meet Priscilla's. Every other month beyond that they go to swim to the Mariners. So breakfast was here in PA today, and Paul and I went to it and had a good time. And today and tomorrow is the Maritime Festival here in Port Angeles, where the pilot boats will be in the harbor, and let's see, I think Aero Marine has a boat open, and I believe that the Coast Guard has one of their 75-foot launches here and all that. It's really, really fun to go to. Sometimes Platypus is open, big marine repair facility, and sometimes Westport Yachts will make the 38 and the 50-meter yachts open. So we're going to go down to that tomorrow and check that out. It was kind of rainy here today. Bad day to rain, but it's going to be nice tomorrow. So I'm getting close to being out of time. Good to see you all. So I'll send it back to net operator, net controller Dave. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Go ahead, Dave.
7KC, thanks for that report. A little rain there in Port Angeles. Let's go to Bert, N7CS in Marysville.
Hey, well, good evening, everyone. Yeah, Bob, I'm trying to connect my Hamwan dish up, but it does not seem to be getting an IP address from the Snohomish County DEM. I don't know what's going on there, but maybe if someone else has access to the Grand Stream site, they can make that change. I'll keep trying. But let's see, what else is going on? I will be, my next trip is starting on Monday, so I'll be heading out to Vancouver Monday morning to hop on the next cruise ship out of Canada there. And so I'll be doing another Alaska trip for a while. So I'm not sure how many times I'll be able to join the nets in the coming couple of weeks. It'll depend on what events are going on and how well the internet is working. I think I didn't pay for the premium internet this time. I just paid for the regular internet, so it might not work as well, but we'll have to give it a shot. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Just an interesting thing that's been happening. So there's a McDonald's restaurant near me and a Chipotle restaurant near me. The Chipotle is brand new, just opened maybe about a month ago. But since they've been open, their soda fountain machine has been down at least twice so far, and each time it's taken them more than a week to get it fixed. It says it's something to do with the CO2 dispenser isn't working. It's not just like they're out of CO2 and they need a new tank. It's something more than that. But the weird thing is, the McDonald's near me, their soda is also out for the same reason. The CO2 mechanism is broken. It had been broken about 2 months ago, and it took them 2 weeks to get it fixed. So it's funny that both of these restaurants have had 2 outages of soda lasting multiple weeks just in the past 2 months. Don't know what's going on there, but anyway, this is Bert and Marshall, and 7CS, back to that.
CS, let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, I am kind of scrambling around here trying to get the video from my Grand Stream to the site, because my IP changed. I had a power outage last night, and that caused my IP to change. So we'll see if that gets going soon. Otherwise, yeah, it was kind of an indoor day today. I'm afraid I didn't catch what other people have said for the same reason. I've been just trying to get things going here. Been enjoying the nice weather up till today, and frankly, last night, today, it was, I guess yesterday all day as well. Yesterday was kind of nice just for a change, you know. I rarely say that. I rarely say, oh boy, it's nice to have some gray skies and cool and wet conditions, but every so often it's nice for a change. We had a long string of sunny, dry weather, so that was a welcome change, but it'll be nice to see the sun again tomorrow. It's supposed to be back. Okay, back to net, K9PQ.
9PQ, thanks for that. And for an ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Kent.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It was a difference today, there's no doubt. Kind of screwed up my plans a little bit. Well, yeah, I guess it did. It was race day, my first race for the season at Pacific Raceway with our Porsche 945, and but we don't like to race in the rain, and so when I caught the forecast last night, because we had almost half an inch of rain yesterday at our place, and so when I caught the forecast that it was going to continue on into today, I went, oh no. And so, but then I thought, well, that means when I wake up, I just don't have to be in any rush to do anything, because I wasn't going to run out to the track and twiddle my thumbs and watch people just sit under their canopies and wait for it to stop raining. But as it turns out, I still had some racing fun this morning with the 24 Hours of Le Mans. That race started in France this morning at 7 a.m. our time, and they had rain too, and it didn't start raining until after maybe the first hour, and then it really started raining a lot, and I'm telling you, the cars just were off the track everywhere. I saw some of the worst wreckage. I mean, there's just, and the cars, God, they're so technologically modern now. They have this class, and it's the fastest class. It's called hypercar, and it is that height. How about a motor for each wheel? Well, I might not every wheel, but I know there's a motor for at least there's an electric motor for each front wheel. I figured that out eventually. But then you got the gas motor, I guess, is for the rear wheel. But I don't know. I mean, maybe someone knows more about this than I do. But yeah, these cars are just unbelievable. They're just a class by themselves. I don't think they have to stop as much, obviously, for fuel. I think they generate their own fuel, and so that keeps them. They'll have to come in, change tires and stuff like that, and they've been doing that. So that was kind of fun to watch, and so time went on. The race went into the evening, but the weird part was able to get to watch it period anyway, because it's copyright broadcast with Motor Trend magazine in the United States. And so what I discovered though is that it would take usually about 15 or 20 minutes for artificial intelligence with YouTube to figure out that I'm in the United States and I shouldn't be able to watch this European coverage for free. And so then then a little sign would come up and block out the screen and tell me I can't watch it anymore. Well, then I would just find another European channel, and it would take another 15 or 20 minutes to find me. Eventually I wore out my welcome and it found me everywhere. So anyway, that's what I did, and then I eventually made it out to the track later today. K7ITX, back to net control.
And let's go to Jim, N7QO.
And
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. I see Wade is here. I see him on the RF, but not on the computer. He's next in line if you want to get him.
Okay, let's see if Wade wants to respond. W7ITL. ITL. This is KD7CYM. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, I definitely see Wade, but I probably don't really have the resolution to tell if it's just a picture of him or if it's him in real life. What can I say? Anyway, he's with us in spirit. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Thank you, Jim. Okay, we're talking about Le Mans. Well, I missed that. I didn't realize it was going to be on at all. Thanks for mentioning that, Dick. I was going to say, Dick, that no one knows more about this stuff than you do, but then some smart aleck comes up with some research. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Wow. Let's see. The weather, yeah, gray skies here all day. Had a couple periods of rain, moderate rain at one time during the day. Rather gloomy the entire day. Had a sunbreak once for, I don't think it lasted half an hour. And right now I'm showing 62 degrees. And I've got 64 in the shack. It's a little chilly here. Let's see. Alaska Cruise, have fun on that. Soft drink machines. Huh. You know, I used to patronize a local fast food establishment before the pandemic. A number of us neighbors would get together and have lunch and exchange tall tales. And they got a new soft drink dispenser, and it never worked right since then. I don't know what the issue is. Of course, it's far more sophisticated than the one which they originally had, but the reliability wasn't there, and it does seem like they had to call in some special person to maintain it. I recall it being out of service for a number of days at a time. Having said that, I haven't been to that place since before the pandemic, so I don't know, but interesting that other places are having that problem too. Must be some salesman is out selling those things, and maybe the reliability just isn't quite there. Oh well. Good luck with that, Bert. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
and time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to James, WU7N in Bellevue.
Hey, WU7N Northeast Bellevue. Big thanks to everybody scrambling around to get the digital and the analog all happily playing with each other tonight. The picture coming off the mountain tonight, 1.2 gigahertz, is superb. It seems to like dry, calm weather, but then it was all raining last night around here. I'm not quite sure what causes the picture to just look so good. I wonder if it's something on my end or something that changes up the site. Our Alaska trip. Okay, so we definitely we appreciate it. Anytime you can get back to us or whatever you can bring back in terms of beautiful bits to show everybody. My sister and brother-in-law just texted me. They're just coming back from a trip. They were on a commercial fishing boat, someone that the family knows, and what he does is when he's going to point A to point B, he takes people on. And so it's a commercial fishing boat, but he says, why just go from this point to that point without doing something? So he has people on board, and it becomes a charter kind of thing, and then when he gets to wherever they're supposed to go, I guess he dumps you out, and then you're on your own. Bert, thank you for the CO2 problems report. I was wondering, I'm doing research for a possible published paper. This is why the third Egyptian civilization fell, was their lack of access to CO2 for carbonated beverages. It was a domino effect kind of thing. Before you know it, people were just running around the street going crazy. Seriously, I had a problem with the credit union. I didn't know this till COVID, but all these banks were using the same clearinghouse for the bill pay. And I had another problem. Just, two bills just never happened. So I guess you just got to keep watching everything because we don't seem to be recovered from the COVID hits. And so I appreciate all these little reports, like what do you notice that's not quite working right? In 2 restaurants with CO2 problems in the soda machine, that I find interesting. Bob, now that you're not scrambling around anymore, I can tell you Will Rogers' advice for buying stocks. You buy stocks at a certain price, and then when the stock goes up in value, you sell it. Now, if it doesn't go up in value, don't buy it. So I would say to you that if your IP is changing when you have power outages causing all these problems, then don't have power outages. That's, free advice for me. Okay, 2 thumbs up on that. Good. I'm glad you understand where I'm coming from on that. Le Mans race, I have 3 letters for you, VPN. Yeah, that can get around a lot of problems in life on the internet. Virtual private network, I use NordVPN. And, one day I'm a Frenchman, the next day I'm Chinese, the next day I'm from Lower Yahupistan. I can be anyone I want to be. It does seem to get around a lot of problems. I don't know how much longer the tech power system worldwide will allow this, but it sure does work well now. Thank you for the rain report. I miss you living just across the hill from me because now I'm going to have to get out my own rain gauge. So it was, I think you said 1.6 inches total in the past day or 2. But that's Tacoma, so you should have left maybe a little rain gauge there at your old house so that I could get that report. I guess I'll have to actually put it my own. But thank you for the rain report. It seemed like it rained a lot last night. Every time I kind of half woke up, I could hear it raining outside. So that was really nice because my rental neighbors across the street aren't watering, and they're supposed to be. So the landlord now can kick that can down the road for another week before everything starts dying again. This is James, WW7ATS in Northeast Bellevue. So let me turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Here in Lake City, I got 58 degrees and it's cloudy. Let's see, the excitement, I saw a raccoon crossing my backyard today. I think this was the same raccoon I reported on having rather procreation activities about 8 weeks ago. And it really has a big belly now, so I think whatever happened during that session, raccoon was looking around for some place to give birth. And let's see, a lot of rain here. I think I'm going to have a burial time for a 17-year-old laptop, a Dell Latitude D410, kind of bit the dust. I was going over to YouTube and looking, and all of a sudden I could hear a clickety, 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 click going on inside the laptop when the video came up. Then the video started rolling and moving around and up and down and jittering. So then I kind of killed the YouTube, but I was wondering if I could get anything else. So I went to the ARRL site, and that worked perfect, but this has got an old XP contact in it. So I tried a couple of other places, and it said, security says this is an unusable site. Do not use. So anyway, I think this laptop has seen its days, but I've certainly got a lot of use out of it over the years. But that's what's happening here. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So we'll go back up to Rainy Ron, who saved $50 by not running in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7QKU here again. So let's see, James, I had 0.20 inches of rain, less than a quarter of an inch here in Tacoma. So I didn't have much rain. Sounds like that Maritime Festival up in Port Angeles would be pretty nice. I wouldn't mind being up there myself. In those pop machines, I've noticed now that some of these restaurants, they used to have, they were just a row of spigots, and you'd get some ice out of one place, and then you'd stick your cup underneath it, push the little lever back, and you'd get your drink. Well, now they have, it's like a big refrigerator thing, and it has a touch screen, and it's much more complicated, I think, than the old style, so I don't know. I kind of like, I guess old guys like same thing, they hate change. So the first time I went into one of those places, I stood there and looked at them for a while before I could figure out what I was supposed to do. So you have to kind of touch the screen to decide what you want. And you can mix and match, it seems like, too, which was a new deal, too. So let's see, my brother-in-law called me yesterday afternoon right after lunch. I just finished eating, and he said he was trying to hook up an antenna to get the outside TV, over-the-air TV, and he wasn't having much success. So I said, okay, hang on, I'll be right over. So I drove over, and the only thing he had to do was just go in the menu and switch from cable to antenna, and then do a search. And Jamie and Christmas, he got about 49 or 46 stations, I can't remember. He had the antenna hanging in the attic. They have a bedroom over the garage, big room over the garage, what they use for their master bedroom, and they have access to the attic up there. It's like closet storage up there. So he had opened that and just hung the antenna in there. And he was amazed at how many stations he could get and how well they came in. So I don't know if he's going to do the same thing to the TV downstairs or not, but he was, when I last talked to him, he was running through the stations trying to see what they were like. So I have a feeling he may be cutting the cable. I don't know. He was pretty impressed at that point, so we'll see what happens. I guess that's it for now. Back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, let's go to Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, here we go, in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Very good. Well, you guys really had some rain over there. What was it? 0.035 yesterday, and then this morning we had 0.24. So, better than nothing, I guess. Anyway, yeah, well, the wildlife report. Now, that's kind of interesting here. We had our first fawn. The first fawn that we've seen this year was in the yard yesterday. And Mama was a fawn here, 2 years ago, I think. Anyway, so all these deer know our place really well. They like to come and lay on the grass with the sunroom and watch us inside and stuff like that. Anyway, this doe shows up with the tiniest fawn I believe I've ever seen. Just an itty-bitty little thing. But it was perfect. I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with it. And it was following Mom pretty well. So it was her first year. They normally have, the first year they drop a fawn, it's generally one. And then subsequent years they generally have two. So we assume it's their first year, unless something happened to the, perhaps there was another one and something happened to it. Who knows? See what else? We had evidence of raccoon up in one of the bird houses up in a tree. Is tilted sideways, and that's always a sign that the raccoons are in the area. I don't know, they go up and push the birdhouses sideways. So we got that, and let's see. Oh yes, down on the bluff, which is, we're pretty close to the bluff, so it's at another little angle away from us, there's a huge nest, eagle's nest. And last year they didn't use it, but this year, Mom and Pop are down there, and somebody's sitting on the nest. So we think in short order there will be at least one eagle down there, maybe a couple. Could be as many as 3, I think, but we'll see. So every time we go by, I think everybody does. They stop and glance up there to see. Today, what appeared to be an adult bird in the nest. The nest is huge. It's really big. Been used for years, and they keep adding to it every year. So I'm out of time, Dave. N7KC, back to you.
KC, and it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Bert, N7CS in Marysville.
Okay, let's see, what else do I have going on? Another just general issues report. The last, 3 packages that I've tried to get shipped to me from FedEx, it's supposed to be 2-day shipping, and the last 3 packages, coming from completely different vendors from different parts of the country, seem to get lost for up to a week and a half before they finally get here. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, FedEx used to be very reliable. I mean, they say 2 days, you'd get it in 2 days, or they say overnight, you'd get it overnight. But the last 3 packages over the past maybe 3 months, they just have not been getting here at any kind of regularity. So I've got 1 package out there now that it was supposed to get here Friday, but now it's just got a pending delivery date. I mean, it was supposedly on a plane from New Jersey 5 days ago, so I don't know whatever happened to it after that. But they usually find it, but it takes a while. But what else is going on? So, in the last net, I mentioned how we pulled our Nintendo Wii out of storage that had been sitting in a box since when I had lived back in Houston, and it all worked fine and everything. But after playing it for a bit, we realized, yes, it really is about 10 or 15 years old, so the games weren't all that good compared to what the new games are. So my wife went out and bought a Nintendo Switch yesterday. So she got that all hooked up, and then we spent a few hours playing some games on that today. So that was kind of fun. It's a completely different kind of system. It's designed so it can dock in a station, and then you can use it on your TV, or you can take the whole unit out, and it's like a little game system that you can play by yourself. There, you can take it with you and stuff. So kind of a little different thing there. But anyway, that's probably good for now. This is Bert in Marysville, and 7CS, back to net.
7CS, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bottle.
Well, that was very interesting, Richard, hearing about the 24 Hours of Le Mans, because I had no knowledge that was happening today, but as it happens, I purchased from Amazon the movie Ford versus Ferrari, which is exactly about that, and it is a good movie for anyone that's interested. I liked it, and obviously based on a true story, and pretty well acted. I have no idea how close it is to being exactly factual, because they have some scenes that would probably have to be at least partly made up. But it was real well done. I liked that movie, and just a funny coincidence. Let's see. Yeah, the Will Rogers quote. Man, he had so many good quotes. I had not heard that one before, but that it sounds like classic Will Rogers. Yeah, if it goes down, just don't buy it in the first place. It makes perfect sense. And you know, along those lines, I think I'm going to give up on power outages. They're just, you know, it's just not the fun time I was expecting it to be. I think I'm going to quit. So, back to net, K9PQ.
PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, yeah, that's really interesting, Bob. Yeah, it is a coincidence, but the weird thing about it is, you know, so in that movie, this is where Ford kind of knocked Ferrari off the big heap, and that was a big deal, and Ferrari ended up picking off, running home with the tail between their legs, never came back until this weekend or till today. They'd come back with a vengeance. Ferrari is the last time, well, it's Ferrari and Toyota are battling for first the last time I checked. And but what's really bizarre is halfway through the race, you know, right now it's or no, it was at 7 o'clock this evening. It was halfway through the race, and it was crazy. There were, I think I counted probably at least a dozen cars all on the same lap, and it looked like 5 or 6 of the cars were all within a minute of each other, and then, I mean, this is just unheard of. Usually at this point in time, especially because of the evening over there, there's usually one car that's usually, you know, hours and hours ahead of everybody else. Or it's not time, it's laps. He's, you know, lots and lots of laps ahead, which translates into minutes and hours behind the other person. That's how we look at the differential, the gap between, you know, the different cars. So the fact that Ferrari can come back after their big absence and just hit the ground running. James, thank you very much for the specifications on the 2 electric motors for each front wheel. I got kind of mixed up or didn't quite understand about the 3 hydrogen tanks, other than the 4-cylinder engine must be running on hydrogen is the only thing I can think there. Yeah, no, it's just way over my head at this point, especially when I'm dealing tomorrow. I'll be having fun with a 1971 Porsche 945, and so yeah, I just totally in the dark on some of the newer stuff, but it's all pretty cool. Okay, well, and Bert, have a great trip. I love Alaska. I was born in Alaska, and just be careful of the moose. They look really nice, kind of like Bullwinkle, but no, they're known to put a big hurt on people, and so they're just, if not more dangerous than the doggone bears. So you wouldn't know. I remember so being warned about it when I was there by my sisters. Oh yeah. I got coffee one time when everyone was still asleep in the morning, and I was coming back to their house by the Seward Airport. Sure as heck, there was this moose. I swear to God, it was as big as an elephant. I don't know. I mean, it couldn't have been, but it, you know, in the mist, early in the morning, he was about 100 yards away, and I pulled over and stopped. I thought, okay, I'm going to take the advice and just stop the car and stay away from him. And next thing I know, I blinked and he was gone. Thank God. So, all right, have a great trip, Bert. And anyway, Good luck. So you guys, my wife compares what we were doing to a modern day seance, and I'll tell you, this was a perfect example of a modern day seance where, we couldn't quite get our picture right, and then, are you still there, it's just, I thought that was a pretty interesting analogy that she came up with, not that we're, dealing with ghosts or the afterlife, but we do have our ways. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that, Richard. And it's time again for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, yes, I agree. The pictures on the 1.2 gigahertz tonight are really good. From my location, I consistently get a better picture after a rain, and I have speculated that it is because it's helping to wash pollen off of leaves somewhere between me and the repeater. Perhaps the pollen attenuates the RF signal somewhat, perhaps even absorbs some of it, and if it's gone, it seems to help. I don't know, you are dramatically closer to the repeater than me, so I don't know. Anyway, it looks better tonight than normal. That's I can say that. Let's see. Dave, it sounds like you need to prepare for multiple hungry raccoons. Don't know what. I'm not sure what to feed them. I know we were talking about something on a previous net involving rabbits. I have a product, an aerosol in a pump-type bottle, which is supposed to repel deer and rabbits and raccoons. Seems like a couple of other things as well. And it seems to be effective until it rains. So I don't know, if you know where they are and you want them to go to a different spot, perhaps you can treat that spot, and maybe they'll go to a neighbor's yard looking for handouts. Otherwise, good luck. Ron, drink machines. Yeah, well, everyone. The store which I used to patronize would occasionally have to reboot their soft drink dispenser machine. And part of the problem was there was only one person there who, of course, was not there all of the time, but only one person knew how to reboot the soft drink machine. I wouldn't think it's that complicated, but maybe no one just cared to even try. So, I don't know. I wasn't going to mess with it. First fawn of the year. Yeah, yeah. Critters are coming out. I'm seeing an abundance of spiders walking around my property nowadays. The new hatch of spiders is out as well. So I guess that finally means winter is over for us. Although the past 2 days have seemed a little bit more like winter than not. Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah, I saw that. That was good. That was, I thought it was worth seeing. And, Moose,
Yeah, if you hit that thing with your car, it's definitely going to mess up your car. Watch out for the moose. And you want to make sure you're not going too fast, because you don't want it to come through the windshield, because then it could mess up not only your car but you. So good decision to give them a wide berth. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
7QO, let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Well, thank you, Dave. Good to know that the raccoons in your neighborhood are on the job, so to speak. I walked down the street just before the rain started, so it had to be day before yesterday, and was startled by something going on in the bushes, and it turned out to be this big, giant, fat raccoon who didn't seem too concerned about me. I kind of steered away from him because I thought it was odd that he was out in broad daylight at that time of the day. They're supposed to be nocturnal animals. So I thought that was kind of weird that he was out, but didn't seem too concerned, and then he finally decided he should run away from me and get in some bushes. Squelch tone, is my audio coming through okay? See a thumbs up there. Yeah. Fun fact about King County, there was a disease, I don't know, time flies here, maybe a decade ago, that almost wiped out our raccoon population. I don't remember what the disease was. It might have been distemper, but it really thinned out the population, and that's why we didn't see them for a while. But my neighbor's camera routinely catches all kinds of critters running along a trail next to our building. It seems to be the critter highway of my neighborhood. We've seen bobcats, coyote, with a strange kind of mange between its shoulder blades that no one can quite tell me what that is. But I don't think we've seen raccoons going up and down that trail yet. Of course, just about everything else. And yes, Bert, it is interesting. You have discovered the same thing for video games that I've discovered for other kinds of video entertainment. It ages. I find it fascinating for a while I was really interested in Dragnet, just the history of Dragnet, not the show Dragnet, but the history of Dragnet, because it was when they were experimenting with television, they still didn't quite really know what they were doing. But if you watch a Dragnet episode, the first thing that will hit you is, how did people watch this? And then the second thing is, you find out they didn't use professional actors. They didn't use stage actors or anybody that had acting experience. They were radio actors. And that's why it looks like this. I don't know what happened. Well, I guess we'll have to look into it. Okay, you go ahead and do that. I mean, it's almost comical. The very first episodes that were put on, I'm sure, wet film, and it's amazing that they were saved, because, of course, as you probably all know, a lot of the Johnny Carson episodes were destroyed. They were on magnetic tape, and someone said, wow, that magnetic tape is valuable, so we'll erase it and reuse it. And then Johnny Carson said, that person now has a job in the janitorial section. Anyway, that's why there's a gap in Johnny Carson episodes. But yeah, even stuff where there were actually really good high-powered actors like Star Trek, a lot of those actors are actually Shakespearean actors. Even then, it's just the technology's advanced, and they were designing the whole thing to go on a screen that was probably smaller than most of the computer screens we're looking at right now. And it just ages, and you go, wow, how did we watch that? And I guess the answer is because it was new and different at the time. Hit YouTube and look up an old Dragnet issue and watch it for 5 minutes and see what you think. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Looks like you have about 10 minutes to go, so let me turn back to Dave, our net control.
7N, thanks for that. Oh my, oh my. Let's see, the critters in my yard. About 2 years ago, I think the mother, there were 5 little kits that came out. They were in the backyard, and I found out I could take a laser pointer and have some fun on the grass, and the little kids would chase those all around the backyard. So that was very interesting. But I think, on the other hand, I've read that raccoons can carry rabies, so don't look at them as a pet or try to try to say, here, kitty, kitty, or whatever you want to do to have them come to you. Avoid them if you can. And they're very protective of their offspring. And then we were talking about sports cars earlier. You know, last summer I was in Scottsdale, and I was at an upscale restaurant, and I pulled up alongside for a parking spot, and there was a Lamborghini next to me. And as I was looking it over, wow, and the owner got out, and he had something that he had got from inside that he was going to take to his car. I got talking to him. He says, wow, what a nice car. He says, yeah, I really enjoy it. And I says, was there anything you don't like about it? He says, yes, my automobile insurance. That was about it. He didn't go and elaborate anymore, but he said the insurance was outrageous. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. And for Ron, off-the-air television, boy, that's kind of nice. Like national broadcast associations were really getting down to the wire to be sure that people wrote the FCC that they didn't sell off more television frequencies, because what might happen in the future is on-the-air, off-the-air television may not exist, and be only cable TV that you'll be able to get, or get it online. So they wanted to be sure that it was being transmitted. So something to keep in mind if you want to have free off-the-air TV. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So let's go back to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here. Yeah, we have streaming TV. I don't know if any of the rest of you have streaming TV. The only thing that I would say about it, you know, it's just like a computer. It's kind of slow, at least, you know, maybe it's just slow because of my Fire Stick, I don't know, but, and then when you turn it on, you have to go through the whole process, you know. You have to select whatever you're going to use to view your program, and then you have to select the program. It takes it quite a while. You just, you know, if you shut it off on channel 5 and you turn it on, it's not going to go back to channel 5. It's going to go back to like the desktop, and then you have to start all over again. I find that I get tired of that, but that's okay. So you guys were talking about moose and everything, made me think, and I probably told this story before. My friend lived in Montana. He lived in this little town called Twin Bridges, Montana. It's out of Butte. And he told me if I came over there, I was going over there the first time, if I came over there in the evening, I'd be sure and drive really slow because there was just deer all over and I'd hit them. And I know as I was coming out of Butte, going to his place, sure enough, there, before I turned off, there was a semi sitting on the side of the road, and he had a deer in his grill, and the steam and water was pouring out of his truck, you know. So I turned off on this little 2-lane asphalt road, and I could have drove 50 or 60 miles an hour, and it was a good road, but he told me, man, don't go over 35, you'll be sorry. So I was chugging along. I'd been going what seemed like forever. You know, it was slow. Darn, I wanted to drive faster, but sure enough, a guy went flying by me in a big pickup, because I was, like I say, I was going 35. He was probably going about 60. About, I don't know, a couple corners up the road. There he sat, beside it, in the middle of the road with the steam coming out of his radiator. He'd hit a deer. So my friend knew what he was talking about. So I went over there several times, and I was lucky enough not to hit one. He had a Jeep, and he hit a deer with his Jeep, and darn near went through the windshield. So it jumped off the bank, landed on his hood, and just about went through his windshield. So this animal was going to be pretty dangerous. So anyway, Bert, you have a nice trip. If we don't talk to you before you go, and we'll look forward to seeing you. Maybe report to us. That's always fun. So, Richard, have you been watching the Mariners game? They were playing the A's tonight, and can't get either one of them unless you go to Root. So it's disgusting. Anyway, back to that KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, very good. Lee here again, N7KC in PA. Well, I have a moose story. I worked with a guy once who had worked in Alaska, and he said one night, late at night, he and somebody else were on their way home, and they came upon a moose, actually a dead moose, and a sports car that had two people in it, but the car slid underneath the moose, and the windshield came back and flipped their noggins off. Anyway, it was quite a story. I don't have anything else. Bert, do have a good trip, and it will be fun, you know, if you can get decent internet. What you've done in the past has just been spectacular. It's hard to believe you can pull that off, but you did. Very nice. So it'd be fun to see if you have any luck this time too. So with that, Dave, back to you. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. So go ahead.
KC, let's go to Bert, N7CS.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you about one of the other trips I'm doing a little bit later in the year. So in a couple of months, my wife and I are going to be heading out to Washington, D.C. just for a couple of days. And one thing, I've been there before, but it's been in the past for work or whatnot, never for like a personal trip. So I didn't really have time to do much. But one of the things I always wanted to do was to try to do a tour of the White House. So I'm trying to figure out how to like get that set up. It turns out it's fairly complex. You can't just buy a ticket. You have to go through either your congressperson or one of your senators, and they have to, I guess, tell you where to go to do it. So I contacted my congressperson, or I went to their website, and they have a link where you can register. You can try to put in your preference that you want to trip or whatever. So I did that, and I get to the last step. I click submit, and it says, boom, you don't have permission to submit this. So I tried it again to make sure it wasn't something I did, and same error. So I called up the congressional office, and I said, hey, I tried to put my request in, and it didn't work. And they said, oh, well, you have to go to our website and do it. I said, no, that's what I just did. So they said, okay, well, I'll do it for you. So their person went on the same website I was on and basically entered their same information. It worked for them. They said that, yeah, it usually works for us because we're on whatever the IP that it allows. So, well, then why did you send people to it anyway? But anyway, I got that in there. So I thought, okay, good, it's all set, it's done. No, that's just step one. So let me let it drop for a second. Okay, so that just puts in the intent that you would like to go. The Congress people still have to look at it and approve it, your congressional rep. Then it has to be sent to the White House. So 2 days later, I get an email from the White House system saying, okay, your request has been submitted. Now you need to click on this link and give us information, your personal information, like your name, address. You even have to enter your social security number of you and everybody in your party that is going. So I submitted that information, and then it says, okay, so now this is not confirmed, but we've got your information now. We will let you know 2 weeks before your visit whether you're confirmed or not. Oh, and all this has to be done, all this information I'm doing, this process can only be done between 21 and 90 days in advance of your visit. And it's got a very short window you've got to get this in there. But they won't let you know until 2 weeks before whether you're actually in or not for the trip. But yeah, so I won't know if I'm actually going to get to go on that for a while. But anyway, we're coming up to the top of the hour, so this is Bert in Marysville, and the 7CS back to net.
7CS. Oh my gosh, red tape that you have to go through. I imagine it could end up in a box of documents if you had another president there. You'd have records that would be kept for posterity, you might say. Anyway, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. It's time to wrap up the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7ATS repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for our voice transmissions for our nets. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, signing off the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
N7KC disconnected.